I'd like to call the Smithfield Town Council meeting to order at 7 p.m. The prayer. This evening, Lord, we ask for your guidance as we engage in meaningful discussions to allow us the mutual bonds of our community. Amen. I'd like to, at this point, rise for a moment of silence for John Chekhov, who was a long-standing teacher in the community, and also the two Bryant students that unfortunately lost their lives last weekend on 146. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Emergency evacuation and health notification.
In the event that the town council chambers has to be evacuated, there are two exits, one at the very rear of the chambers. If you go out that door, a stairwell to the right brings you out to the front of the building. To my right and your left, there's another exit. This side of the stage brings, if you take that stairwell, it takes you out to the side of the building. Please do not use the elevator in case of an emergency. Ladies' room and men's room immediately out the rear door of the council chambers. On the right is the men's room. 3 steps up on the left is the ladies' room.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Before we get to the next item on the agenda, I want to publicly thank our DPW for their fine work that they've done over the past snowstorm on clearing the roads and and as of today, they're still clearing the roads and backing everything up. So God forbid we get another storm, we'll be able to handle it. So at this time, Jolie DeCristofaro, can you come to the podium, please? Jolie was the one that wrote us an email pertaining to our guest tonight for a special presentation. So Jolie, why don't you give us a little bit of background and why you threw this lady under the bus here?
Oh, literally. So first of all, I want to thank the town council for approving my nomination to Jean. Although I don't know you personally, I feel you're an inspiration to me and to a lot of other people. You're dedicated to your job, always smiling, waving, full of energy, very uplifting. And I personally feel you should be acknowledged. I feel like a lot of negativity is in this world and you always hear the bad. And I feel you're just a true inspiration to a lot of people and to the community, and the people of the town of Smithfield are very grateful for all that you do, keeping the kids safe, and she's just great. Great. Thank you.
So Jeannie, would you come up to the podium, please? And state your name for the record.
My name is Jean Canberra.
Jeannie, how long have you been a crossing guard?
I've been a crossing guard since September, since school opened. It's my first year. And there was a day that the kindness committee at La Perche was outside and they were screaming and yelling and shaking pom-poms and whistling and welcoming the buses and welcoming the teachers and welcoming the students. And it touched my heart. And I started waving at everybody. And as I waved at everybody, people waved back. And that's it. I just do it now.
Well,
It's ingrained in me.
I'll tell you, on behalf of the town of Smithfield, I want to congratulate you for just doing that, because we all, some of us, get complaints about crossing guards and not doing the right thing for traffic. And to see someone of your stature, to come out, I've gotten a number of emails from the people around La Perch about how you smile, how you wave, how you do it all. But we wanted to recognize you, so I'll read the citation, the special recognition from the town of Smithfield. The town of Smithfield and the town council of Rhode Island wish to extend a heartfelt recognition with appreciation of going above and beyond in performing her duties as a crossing guard at Raymond C. LaPerche Elementary School and being inspirational in the community with her positive energy. So thank you very much. Hopefully that the people that pass by you now will wave
They do,
to you.
do.
Right.
I make them wave.
There you go.
I have one guy that hasn't waved at me yet, but he's gonna. He's
But if you get us his license plate, we'll make sure he waves.
a pleasure.
Guys, want to go down?
Oh, my. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, boss.
20 years. Somebody's day. So.
Yeah. Mrs. DeCristofaro, thank you so much for bringing her to us to be noticed. I really appreciate that. We have one thing to tell her. She needs 20 years in order to get a pension.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is item number 6. Move the minutes of January 14, 2026 work session meeting to be approved and recorded. Do I have a second?
I'd second to be recorded and to be approved as amended on page 13. The clerk made an amendment today, adding the word in the last paragraph, first sentence, adding the word not before the word allowing.
All right, thank you. As amended. All in favor? Aye,
Aye.
nays, ayes have it. Item number 7, consider discuss act upon the following possible appointments and reappointments. Budget and Review, Financial Review Board, reappointees, there are 2, with the terms expiring January 2031. Councilman Ionati.
Mr. President, I move that the town council reappoint Chris Conti to the Budget and Financial Review Board for a term expiring in January of 2031.
Do I have a motion? I have a second.
That was my motion.
Okay.
You're the second.
All in favor? Aye,
Aye.
nays, ayes have it. Number 2.
Mr. President, I move that the town council reappoint Joseph M. Tadino to the Budget and Financial Review Board for a term expiring in January of 2031.
Do I have a second? Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Nays, ayes have it. Item number 8, there are no public hearings. Item number 9, licenses. Consider, discuss, act upon approving an annual renewal of 1 weapons license as applies, subject to compliance with all state regulations and local ordinances as High Table Outfitters LLC. Lynn, all the paperwork, go ahead. I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye, nays, ayes have it. Item B, consider, discuss, act upon approving a new entertainment license for Uncommon Pear Brewery LLC, Uncommon Pear Brewery, located at 375 Putnam Pike, Unit 14, as applied, subject to compliance with all state regulations and local ordinances. Lynn, everything in order? I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Nays, ayes have it. Item C, consider discuss act upon approving a renewal one-day dance license as applied, subject to compliance with all state regulations and local ordinances, the Smithfield Senior Center at 1 William Hawkins Trail. I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Nays, ayes have it. Item number 10, old business, there is none. Item number 11, new business. Consider discuss the act upon acceptance of an audit report for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025, prepared by Clifton Lawson Allen LLP. I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Tom Hodgkins, 200 Farnham Pike. Thank you. We just attended a workshop that the auditor attended on this matter. I had several questions about this audit, which the auditor refused to answer regarding the scope of the review of the audit and materials that were provided to the audit. The audit for the town, the financial audit, is a basic level of transparency for the town. The audit is worthless if the people don't know what the review was, the scope of the review that the auditor took part in, and if the auditor refuses to answer questions from the public. The auditor told you that there was a term of confidentiality in the contract that he had with the town. What was presented to the town for the RFP did not include any confidentiality clause in it. I'd like to know if the town executed some other contract with the auditor which required confidentiality, which didn't come before the council. Otherwise, there's no basis for that to assert that the auditor is not going to respond to questions from the taxpayers who are basically who are paying for the audit to be performed. We need to know what the level of that review is, and especially I did ask questions about what information was provided to the auditor. The auditor noted issues between funds between the school department and the town, and the lack of monthly reporting between the town and the school department. So that's something we need to know. And if the auditor can't answer those questions, how are we supposed to address that as taxpayers? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Caitlin, are you still here?
Caitlin Trania, Finance Director.
Is what Mr. Hoskins stated.
So I will review the letter that we signed with the audit company and get back to you on the confidentiality agreement. I can elaborate on his question with the school if he'd like.
I think what I would like is that Mr. Hoskins send the town manager any questions that he has about the audit. We'll get it to you.
Yep.
And then you can answer, and Mr. Seltzer can send it back. Is that fair with you, Mr. Hoskins?
Director, would you be able to send us the actual contract or whatever you signed so we could see it? Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, Mr. President. But specifically what I'm concerned about is the scope of the review that the auditor performed, what the auditor requested from the school department, and what the auditor received in response to those requests. And to be fair to the finance director, I don't know that the finance director was necessarily present or made those requests or received what was there. This is specifically with regards to the auditor's review of what was requested and what was received.
I think if you get that to Mr. Seltzer, you'll get an answer.
Thank you.
As you know, I was in the meeting, Kenneth Souza, 2 Williams Road. It's not an employment agreement. Employment agreements are confidential, by rule. But the other thing that sort of bothered me about this, I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not a member of the town council, but he answered my questions. So I don't know. I would respectfully ask you, the next contract that gets signed, if it is in there, please remove it. Because I think they should stand the scrutiny. With all due respect, if there was a shareholder meeting for a public company, they would have to answer those questions to the shareholders in that meeting. So we're all shareholders because we pay taxes, for the lack of a better term. I would respectfully ask, and I don't want to put him in an awkward position, and I'm glad Caitlin was there to help us, but that clause needs to come out if it is in there.
We'll get it rectified.
Thanks.
Great.
Thank you. I have a motion. We have a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Nays? Ayes have it. Item B, consider discuss act upon authorizing the purchase through contract 39809 Sourcewell 02625 MOT 3-digit vehicle repeater radio systems, including installation and Motorola solutions in the amount of $64,986.15 to be funded by the Bryant Police and Fire Fund. Chief, welcome and thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you, council members. I stand before you to request the purchase of 3 Motorola APX 4500 mobile radios and digital vehicle repeater systems, which is an adjunct accessory to our new Motorola APX 8000 portable radios that were purchased through the Federal Assistance to Firefighters grant. In 2023, the Smithfield Fire Department was awarded $363,000 through the AFG to purchase 44 APX 8000 portable radios, which can operate on VHF, UHF, and 800 megahertz band. We also received a $200,000 grant through the Rhode Island Emergency Management Agency to upgrade our dispatch console. As we migrate to the Rhode Island Interoperable Statewide Communications Network, RISCON, this is the last piece of the project to add vehicle repeaters to our primary response vehicles. If I may, mobile vehicle repeaters enhances firefighter safety in several key ways. They relay radio signals around obstacles like hills, buildings, dense vegetation that would otherwise create dead zones, ensuring crews can communicate even in remote or obstructed areas. The repeater can be positioned outside a structure while teams work inside, bridging the signal gap that concrete, steel, and other building materials create. Firefighters' handheld radios don't need to transmit as far or at high power to reach the repeater, which extends battery life during extended operations and reduces RF exposure. These vehicle-mounted systems can be quickly repositioned as incidents evolve following the command post or moving to optimize coverage as the situation changes. If the primary infrastructure fails or becomes overloaded, the mobile vehicle repeater systems provide an independent communications network that keeps teams connected to the incident command and each other. We request the purchase of 3 complete digital vehicle repeater systems, including installation from Motorola Solutions in the amount of $64,986.15, purchased under the Sourcewell contract. On February 7th, 2025, Chief Seltzer requested authorizations to purchase 1 unit as a test unit to ensure interoperability with the RISCON system. The test unit has performed to its capabilities and has helped improve our communications within buildings. And this purchase will ensure that our apparatus has the same communications and equipment. If approved, this project will be financed, like you stated, President, through the Bryant Police and Fire Fund.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions?
The Bryant Police and Fire Fund, is that
About $700,000.
right? And then we're not putting any more money in that. That's going away. Because under the new agreement with Bryant, the money just comes directly to the town, right? We get a payment to the town.
Any questions? Anyone? I'll entertain a motion. Have a second.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ayes, ayes have it.
Thank you.
Public comment.
Tom Hawkins, 200 Farnham Pike. I want to address the council in your oversight role of town administration, specifically with regards to the planning board. Over the course of last fall and early this year, there was a project before the planning board which gathered great public interest. During the course of those hearings, I made several requests to the planning department for all application materials that were submitted to the board by the applicant. I made 2 requests in 2025 and 1 request in 2026, leading up to that hearing that took place in January. The applicant got up to speak, and come to find out, the applicant refers to a submission that had been made to the planning board back in November of 2025 that was never provided to me in respect to my 3 requests for all applications, or excuse me, for all materials that were submitted by the applicant to the planning board. It's a matter of fundamental fairness for people to be able to access what the planning board is considering by applicants on these applications. There should not be things that are being considered by the planning board that have not been provided to the public, or that are not provided to the public in response to a request. That's a basic matter of fairness for these hearings. So I would ask this, I'd ask the council to put this on an agenda because from my experience, this has been going on for a long time, and things have gotten much better. I know that some materials for that application were posted online, others were not. But in my experience, in prior years, and trying to get application materials, I've sent emails that I didn't receive a response to. I've gone downstairs to look at the files in person. Sometimes there's been difficulty locating the file. Other times there's been parts of a file presented to me that were represented as the entire file, which I later found out were not the entire file. I don't make a comment on whether that's intentional or not, but or just an oversight, but there needs to be a clear process and a policy for how things are received by the town, how they're maintained by the town, and how those materials are provided to the public if the public requests that. And I'm not speaking specifically about an APRA request, because an APRA request doesn't address a planning board hearing, where an applicant's submitting things just, days before a hearing, or maybe the day of the hearing. But when you deprive the public of being able to review these materials prior to a hearing, and then they find out about it at the hearing, that is their one shot to comment on something that may have a major impact on their life with regards to the planning board or the zoning board. And it's not fair that an applicant would be able to submit things to the planning board and for other people not to know about that and be able to be properly prepared to comment at that at a hearing. And that hearing is their one chance to do that. So if they request those materials and they're not provided, their chance is forever lost to be able to then petition the planning board with whatever their concern may be. So I'd ask the council to put this on an agenda item. I think the council needs to find out what the policy is now for receipt of the materials, how they're handled, and how they're going to be presented to the public. Because it sounds easy, right? Can I view the entire file? It sounds easy. Apparently it is not. Because that's my experience, and it's not as easy as that. It should be easy, and that should be readily available to anybody who asks for it. So I'd ask the council to take that up. Thank you.
My understanding is that the policy is that all of the application materials are online and are being put online. Now, whether that's actually happening, I haven't seen. Some of the items don't seem to get there, and maybe we need to,
Well, it
work on
started
that.
January 1st of this year.
Okay.
So it's required after January 1st of this year. So it'll be online. And there has been, and Greg's been working on it, and Chris, there's been files all over the place, and he's trying to fix that up. So, we are well aware of that. But the other side to this requires an APRA request. And I say that because that's our formal process. So you just ask what our formal process, that's our formal process. Lynn gets the request, I get a copy of it, the solicitor gets a copy of it, and then she distributes it to all the departments that have materials in regards to the request. Then everything goes back to the clerk. And if anything needs to be reviewed, our solicitor does that, and then she sends it out. So that's the process.
Just to clarify, are you saying that if someone wants a piece of information, no matter what it is, they have to submit an APRA, they can't just send an email or call and have them
If
email?
it's something that it sounds like whatever you did, you didn't get what you wanted. So you need to tell somebody that. You need to call me. when you don't get something, like, somebody needs to know about it. But what I'm telling you is our formal process, and 3 sets of eyes look at it, and then we verify it got taken care of. That's our formal process. If you
Well,
call up and you
I'm
look,
asking the council as the administration of the town to look into this. And I think that, and I understand this is a public comment. I'm not trying to get into a discussion here. I think this is why this needs to be put on an agenda. But an APRA request is not a remedy for a planning board hearing that is happening the same day that materials are submitted or the day after materials are submitted, because the town has 10 days to respond to an APRA request. So if I send an APRA request in the day of, the day or the day before a planning board hearing, I suspect the town's not going to respond until after the planning board hearing.
well,
And then I'm forever lost my opportunity to review those materials to present those to a hearing. I
well,
mean,
just so
it
you're
needs to-
aware,
yeah.
we're not going to drop everything because somebody wants something for a planning board meeting the same day.
I agree, but
There has to
there's
be
a
some-
fundamental fairness problem if the public cannot review materials that are submitted to one of our quasi judicial boards before a hearing, which is their one public opportunity to
But
address the
I
board.
think
That's a fundamental problem. And I would think, I would hope that we can all agree as people in this town, that if the planning board's considering something, the public should get to view the things that the applicant has
But,
submitted prior
the-
to the
the-
hearing. That seems like a simple idea.
Doesn't the public have the right to see anything that is being reviewed by the planning board?
That's my
the
understanding,
town
and that's what it
council in
says,
a
and
public
that's what
forum?
it says in our public notices, that if you want to see it, go down to town hall and you can view the file or whatever it is. So the APRA is not a remedy for that.
So on the major applications, let's stick with planning. The application comes in, obviously, that's a public record, so anybody should have the
everything.
right, anybody should have the right to be able to go down to that office and get a complete copy of whatever was submitted relative to that application. Now, with some of these projects, peer review was involved, and the applicants would submit stuff at the last minute, maybe a day or two before, if not the same day, which would deprive, a member of the public from.
We have a
Yeah.
deadline. We
Yeah.
don't, we have a deadline for that. And also, quite frankly, some of this stuff occurred before Greg, and he is
Right.
trying to straighten his stuff out.
Completely agree, and things are a lot better. I completely agree with that, but
so. The process is, as I understand it, everything goes online now.
You could see whatever submitted on.
Right. And if-
Even maps and stuff, there's no,
Supposed to.
the complete application's going online.
Check with Greg tonight.
and I appreciate that, but this is why I think the council needs to look at it, because someone's making a determination of what's going to be provided to the public and what's not. And the request is, I want everything that the applicant has submitted to the planning board that should just go into one file, can go into a link or whatnot, and be provided to the public. There's no discretion there.
So I have no issue putting this on a council agenda. I just want to make sure that we're not getting tangled with administration. I mean, where like the executive branch, we don't really deal with. I get what you're saying, Tom. Maybe we could just ask for a report of what, I'll call it an investigation. It's not really an investigation, but what happened there and what they're gonna do going forward, whatever. And they can report back and that's it. Does that sound like what you're asking for?
Yeah, I just think the council needs to review whatever the policy is, that make sure we have a written policy for it. If we don't, find out if it's being followed and find out if it needs to be, changed.
So
Because I think people need to be able to see these documents before a planning board hearing or a zoning board hearing or whatever it may be.
I know that I've spoken with the planner. I know he's very busy. So what do we think is a reasonable time frame? Like a month, 2 months?
As far as I know, all of this stuff is going to be put up online, so I really need to confirm with him.
Well, he's asking about like further, processes and things like that.
So let's see what Greg says first, and then we can make a determination.
Well, that's
Thank
what I'm
you.
saying.
That
yeah.
Yeah, and Tom, the other
For your
thing is, if
consideration.
you're looking for something, you can't get in touch with somebody, call me, call Donna, let us know, we'll follow through on it. That we're open to doing that anytime.
And I really appreciate that, but here's the issue. if I ask for the entire file or everything that's been submitted, I don't know what's been submitted. So if certain things are given to me and things are missing, I don't know until I find out later that something exists. So I can't go to you and say, I don't have everything because I don't know what there is.
And the legal ads for these projects do reference the ability of the public to come in and see the whole application. So the whole application should be available in the planning or zoning department for any member of the public to walk in and see.
Yeah, but what he's saying, there may be stuff that's missing.
Well,
Well, if, yeah,
I mean, that's a matter of somebody making a complaint if something was missing and they found out at the planning board, then they need to.
how come I didn't see it in the file?
Yeah,
Right.
we need, yeah, that, I mean, hopefully we can trust our employees to give out the right information. But I will tell you that the record keeping of the past, and I'm not blaming anybody, has been horrendous. So, and that's the stuff we're trying to fix. We are aware
All
of.
we can do is fix it going forward, right?
Right.
So.
Yeah, how do we ensure
All
that
about-
going
right.
forward, you're
Exactly.
not missing anything, or someone's asking for something and they're not missing anything? Like, what's the process to ensure that doesn't occur?
Right. Thank you for considering that.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Tom.
Tom.
Kenneth Souza, 2 Williams Road. Just quickly, I don't want to keep you here longer, but I've been at a planning board meeting where the consultants bring in stuff that was never, so you know where I'm going, Bob. Sorry, town manager. That's inappropriate. And if I was sitting on that stage as the planning board, I would say, I'm not looking at it.
They've been doing that now.
Good, because I think that's a little bit of what Mr. Hotchkiss is
Right.
saying is stuff. And I don't want to blame anybody for doing stuff, but there was a traffic study that was just literally brought up that day.
I think that's what happened prior to the last meeting at Lime Rock, where the meeting was canceled. I believe it was that particular day. Now that you broke that.
No, it just.
Um,
but it-
But that particular day, they got documents that they didn't have time to look at. And it got postponed to the following week or 2 weeks later.
Mr. President, I know this happened either August or September, and I don't remember the specifics of it. It was recent. It wasn't like 2 years ago, because I
Right.
appreciate what you're saying, Town Manager. But it happens more often than, in my opinion, I have a sense it's not the town's fault. It's a little bit of gamesmanship at the last minute by the petitioner. I don't know.
Right.
I don't, but we should have all the information that we
Right.
need.
you.
Otherwise, we lose our chance to do anything.
Thank
I know
you.
that's what happened with one across the street from me. So it's the same.
Thank
thing.
you.
Thank you so much.
All right, game over. Anyone else? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays, ayes have it.